however you found us, whichever media you came through, thanks for joining me. This is a water special. This is up to date. We're going to start doing a little daily series. I think there's enough stuff coming out. There's enough misinformation. There's enough bits and bobs which we're going to look at, and we are going to start with. Let's have a start with. I've got this paper regarding the Nestle scandal, which some of you may have heard about. If you haven't, get on the internet, have a look at it, Google it up. There's a lot more to come on this. Let me say at this early stage, as I've read this or began to read through this, there are so many questions. So what I'm going to have to do, this is how I tend to do things. I'm neuro challenged, as you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't want to give myself a specific badge. I want all the badges. I don't know what HD is, but I've got 80 of them. You know what I mean? Anyway, so what I like to do is get a piece of paper, fold it, fold it again, and fold it again. So what that gives you when you unfold it is a little page of boxes. So I'm just going to call it what it is: better than bottled. Okay, better than bottled, because there's a reason that we are looking to be better than bottled. We're going to dial into the Nestle scandal in a minute, but also when we're looking at bottled water or anything that is water in a container, we're looking at the environmental impact of the extraction, the shipping, and also the recycling of whatever that container is. So there's points in life where we have to have water in a container. We're not mucking about. What we're saying is that better than bottled has to be a standard that you should be looking to set when dealing with taking source water and making it filtered. So we've got questions about what's going on at Perrier. Right, so from this, spotlight because of climate change and environmental impact. So we've discussed how I think that better than bottled sits in terms of the environmental impact it has. We take whatever water is closest to us and we make it better than bottled water is. The days of shipping water from A to B are over. I can do things with water. If you want beautiful mountain water from, and buy 50 quid a bottle, I can deliver that level of filtration. All you need to do is put it in the fridge. Okay, we're talking about technologies. I'm not going to go into technologies in this episode, but there are solutions. I've got solutions. Solutions are coming. So we're looking at the environmental impact. Okay, so we've slightly covered that. It's an issue that can even continue to call themselves natural mineral water. At issue, I'm going to try and read this. I'm not very good at reading, so I do skim read, but I'm going to try and read this. At issue is whether some world famous brands, notably the iconic Perrier label, can continue to call themselves natural mineral water. Okay, natural mineral water. So there's a branding thing here. Okay, there's three types of water in a bottle. There's mineral water, there's spring water, and there's bottled water. Now, bottled water can be anything. Nestle, buy a lake, fill it in bottled water. Spring water has to be from a natural running spring, and natural mineral water or mineral water has to come from a lower aquifer because it's quite high in minerals. So why can't they call themselves natural mineral water? Well, it's because for quite a while. Now, let me just say this right now, and I'm going to say this again. I believe that what's going to come out of this Perrier report as it gets further down the line is that they have been using reverse osmosis. And the reason I say that is because revelations of the French media, illicit filtration systems have been widely used in the industry, apparently because of worries about contamination. Illicit filtration systems. Okay, so are we talking? So the next thing is we're going to look at levels of filtration. So we've got the environmental impact already with what we're standing for. That's better than bottled. That's the environmental impact. The next concern is worried about water contamination. So we're gonna look at levels of filtration. I suspect at this stage, I'm not predicting. This isn't a crystal ball. It's a microphone, but reverse osmosis. I suspect that they have been caught using reverse osmosis because they're saying that the filtration levels are questionable. We're going to come back to that in a bit. Okay. It's a combination of industrial state fraud and state collusion. Listen, guys, let me just assure you that the same company who you are outraged about chucking shit into the river and shit into the sea is the same company responsible for filtering your drinking water at home. Just bear that in mind. Oh yeah. And when it comes to the healing qualities of water, we know that evaporation, now I'm not going to talk about distillation at this stage, but distillation is a part filter. But we're talking about how, it becomes clouds. When do you last think that the water out of your tap was ever a cloud? Well, it kind of wasn't. It's in a loop. We're going to talk about filtration. We're going to talk about natural filtration, and we're going to talk about essential filtration, because there's a big part of the natural filtration level which is missing from our municipal water, but that's another thing. So so industrial fraud and state collusion. Well, in a self-regulated industry, there may be some of that over here. I'm not willing to say. I will mention that bankers' bonuses and bonuses to shareholders dealing with public infrastructure is always a concern. Thanks for that, Maggie. Fingers up to you. But public infrastructure should never have been privatised, in my opinion. The commercial model of big producers has worked very well, but in absolute not sustainable at the time of global change. To suck a water aquifer dry, and let me tell you, this is not going to stop at bottled water, because the next challenge facing deep aquifers is going to be AI. The amount of water required is phenomenal when it comes to AI. So EU law says natural mineral water should be unadulterated between underground source and the bottle. Well, you would have thought so, yes, wouldn't you? Natural mineral water. Brands like Evian, Bishop Perrier have been successful in France. Earlier this year, at the Senate hearing into the industry, Nestlé CEO Laurent Frixet admitted that Perrier had indeed used illicit methods to treat water. Okay. But he also had another admission that an official hydrologist report into the company's historic site in the Gard department in South France had recommended against renewing natural mineral water. Listen, it's been there for 160 years. It's a very, very heavily farmed, very, very dry part of France, and they're getting to the bottom of it, and now they're worried about contamination. Let me tell you about that. There's contamination in upper aquifer, lower aquifer, water table. It's kind of getting anywhere, but these guys have been called out. These guys have been properly called out. They're worried about contaminants from farm chemicals or human waste. Well, yeah, we all are, right? But we ain't sticking it in the bottle trying to sell it to you, are they? Okay, so we're dealing with levels of filtration. What else are we going to be looking at here? 5-year succession of droughts, which was bad for the area. Not very good. Ruling. Okay, so Premier says that there's no EU ruling that specifically bans microfiltration. Microfiltration. Now, microfiltration is a terminology that I've never heard before. I've never heard different levels of filtration referred to as filtration. You can get a lot more specific than that. They're probably just a bit scared to at the moment, because I believe that what they're going to come back with is reverse osmotic pressure filtration. And as we know, the WTO have even said themselves that that extreme level of filtration is detrimental to health. So we're talking about a health issue here as well. The original Perrier water was first trapped by local doctor in the 1860s, and it was under British management. This is pretty bad. This is it has stopped using ultrafine 0.02 micro. Here we go. Okay, Perrier says the new brand is part of the mix and has no intention of abandoning its original source, Perrier natural mineral water. It has stopped using the ultrafine 0.02 micron. Okay, so I haven't read this. I'm reading it as I go along a lot of about a 0.02. Okay, so we're going to talk about the effect that has on levels of filtration as well, and now uses 0.45. Which has been agreed with the government. It's applied for its natural water state stated for just 2 of the 5 drilling wells. 2 out of 5, they've got 5 drilling wells. 0.02 micron and 0.045 micron. I'm quite concerned about that. Listen, I'm just responding to the Perrier thing. Many questions. I guess what we need to talk about now are the solutions, aren't there? The solutions. Now, the solution has to be a bit like your health and well-being, a bit like health and well-being when it comes to nutrition, a bit like health and well-being when it comes to anything. It has to take an investment. Portable Well Company are the ones to invest in. A little bit later, I'm going to probably do a thing about carbon and explain why I do not think that a single carbon filter is enough. Perrier, you've been found out. What I want to know is why the 0.02 was considered illicit and the 0.045 is considered agreeable. I kind of already know, but I'm not going to bore you with it. I'm going to take this upstairs. I'm going to ask the doctor himself, my guru and mentor, what he thinks of that. I've got solutions. We haven't even got onto the subject of soft water. So when you soften water with a salt softener, that level of salinity that you're putting back into the wastewater, because you're swapping certain minerals for salt. That's what makes the water all nice and soft. It also makes it incredibly salty. So when you flush that down the bath or down the shower, going, I call that luxury water, but we could deal with that. When you flush that salt down the drain, it makes the cleaning of the municipal wastewater more and more difficult. So the challenges are going to be more and more difficult. Good news is I've got the solutions. The bad news is perhaps that it is going to take an investment. Can't give them away. On a note, I'd just like to say thank you very much to Last Night a DJ Saved My Life for having the Portable Well Company with them at their tea initiative at Wilderness Festival 2025. It was amazing. Thank you, Lucy, the tea guru. There's an interview with the tea guru coming up soon, and I just want to give a big thanks to Last Night a DJ Saved My Life for what they do, how they do it, why they do it, and allowing me to filter the water for them at Wilderness. So anyway, listen, this is a benchmark test. If you're a PR company, if you're an investor, if you're an angel investor, whatever, get in touch with me, because there's only me at the moment. I've got some great business partners, but they are really just expecting me to get on with it. But I need you in the world of water. Please come join me. There's a lot more we can discuss within this report. Why am I so sort of optimistic about my abilities? Well, that's a really good question, and that's because my mentor and guru is, he's over 85 years old now. He's probably the last of the living pioneers of membrane technology, and he sends me stuff to read, and he sort of says, well, why wouldn't you read it? So, here's a paper I recommend reading this. Exclusions of estrogenic and androgenic steroid hormones from membrane municipal bioreactor wastewater using certain membranes for reuse application. I mean, why wouldn't you read that? Because it's important. We can recycle water here as well. We can recycle grey water. Listen, I'm rattling on. Get involved. Perrier, you've been grassed up. This is opening up an interesting door onto efficacy, safety, and just honest, really. This is the Better Than Bottle Company. This is Sparks World. This is the Portable Well. Wellness, have you found me? I'm glad you did. For those of you that know me, put aside any prejudice of having I can be, and please stick on this. For those of you that don't know me yet, when you get to me, you'll know what I meant by what I just said. Anyway, love you all. Stay hydrated. I'm going to hit the pause button. This is rehearsed. If you don't rehearse, you can't get on. It's from heart. Having a read of it. I might even sharpen up for the BBC. Who knows? Anyway, back in the studio. Toodles.